Hey, it's Yash. I got a good idea for a title. The guy was talking about PAWS, basically, which is, it's a severe flatline. It's Post-Acute Withdrawal Syndrome. Now that's not just for semen retention. That can be in getting off any kind of drug or addiction, nicotine or drugs or alcohol or just anything, coffee. But the thing is, this can kill you. Maybe not, I mean, indirectly, yeah, I was going to say maybe not with all addictions, but indirectly, if you look at how the mental, how it can break down the mental, one's mentality and emotionally, and they can get into all kinds of deep depression and suicide, and some do suicide out. And physically, you're not going to die. Semen retention doesn't have strong physical withdrawals like alcohol. Like there's some people, man, or heroin, you can't just quit cold turkey. Not some of them. The DTs and the just the withdrawals from quitting certain substances can make somebody you can die. Period. So they have to wean you off with certain things. Methadone and other stuff. Anyway, we're talking about semen retention, but I wanted to illustrate what is this what is this acute withdrawal syndrome. I wrote some things down. See, I write things down when we got in a really a more serious, important topic, because I don't want to miss stuff. I just write some bullet points down because I got to flow. When you flow, this is where the real energy and knowledge comes out. See, if everything's patent and dry, it's like the mind's created that. I don't want to speak from the mind. Mind's very limited. I gotta let the gate open and then let that come through, whatever's supposed to come through, because then that will touch you. And that's why some of you like these videos. You sense that, you know. But I gotta write a little something because there's just so many things I don't want to miss, because this is an important topic. So it depends on the sensitivity of a person. See, I know about this topic. I have personal experience with this. I'm one of these people. When I quit smoking weed, man, I quit at 15 and a half. I had to check myself into a rehab to get off this. I couldn't stop doing it. And when I quit, and I was in there with other people who were addicted to marijuana, but my withdrawals compared to them, please. I mean, it was just insane. It was just insane. I was just rageful, and my mood swings were off the chart, and they had to lock me in that white room, seclusion. And they had to give me Prozac at the time to just balance some things out. I just couldn't. My neurological system went haywire, you know, and can't sleep. Geez, man, look, that took about 3 years. Yeah, I'm not. If anything, I'm under-exaggerating. It took a solid 3 years for me to come back into some semblance of balance, mentally and emotionally. Physically, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not too long, a few months. But mental and emotional. See, this is where this syndrome really activates, and this is what we're talking about here. So it depends on the sensitivity of your nervous system. If you have an excessive, overly sensitive nervous system by nature, you're going to be prone to this condition more than somebody who's not. Somebody who's not, maybe they can quit and they don't experience a lot of side effects, but you're like really like what? Whoa! Like your withdrawals can be 100 times worse. So that's one thing. Depends on your sensitivity, your nervous system. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, there is. We're going to get into lifestyle habits and stuff that you can do to kind of, it's all about being grounded. You got to ground yourself, okay? Anybody that's sensitive, whether you're going through withdrawals or not, your whole lifestyle should be a grounding lifestyle via diet, via habits, the people you hang with, the job. You don't want to mess with stress. Those who have an excessive, overly sensitive nervous system. So remember that and use that. Like, use these tools that I'm telling you, because this will ground you better. Otherwise, these people, you need to take pharmaceutical drugs and all that, and that just breaks your system down more. I'm not saying like don't ever take them, and some people need them. It's cool, but you know, that's another subject. How many years? It depends how many years you've been edging and stuff. See, if you've been doing this, and see, that's what, it's not just how many years you've been releasing your semen. For example, let's say somebody masturbates once a week, you know, and then for 10 years, and then he just stops, or he gets a girlfriend or something. And another guy, let's say he has sex with a girl and he loses his semen, you know, whenever he's in a relationship. But then when he's not in a relationship, he doesn't lose it. Then you got a guy who he's masturbating, losing his semen every day. He loses it in a relationship when he has sex, and he's edging all the time. Which situation, let's say they've all been doing that for 10 years, which is going to be worse? The guy who's edging and masturbating every day. See, when it's an accumulation. There's two factors here. How long have you been like losing your energy? Like how many years? And also the duration of time in the day that you're losing it. If you're spending all day like losing your energy and looking at porn and just destroying your brain, see, if you do that every day, let's say for 2 years, and then somebody else for 10 years, they're just kind of once in a while they do it, they don't, you know, or let's say even they do it for an hour a day for 10 years, but you've been doing it, let's say 6-10 hours a day for 2 years, you're going to suffer more. You got more damage because it's a cumulative effect that happens here. And then you add on top of that you have a sensitive nervous system. Yeah, man, it's going to take like those severe cases like I just described, that can really take a good solid 3 years to come back into some harmony and balance. And that's when you have the other the factors in place that helps, lifestyle habits and a diet, and you know, like this is no joke, this kind of thing. And there's no medical things that can help you. Like the body needs and brain needs to go through a regeneration. It's like the karmic tax that we got to pay for doing that, you know. So you just start now. That's what you do. Most people, it won't take that long. But those, and I feel you know who I'm talking about, just give yourself 3 years. Just walk out of your life for 3 years. It's actually good if you walked out of your life forever. What that means is you've walked out of this personal, you know, human, like, oh, I got all these desires and I want to do this, like society, and something just throws all that away. So no, I'm done. I'm just going to focus. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to focus on healing, and I'm going to develop my spiritual nature. This is the only thing that really gives true happiness. That's the funny thing. So it's not like, see, the mind will see that as like, oh man, that's a that's a big sacrifice. It's like, no, everything else is a sacrifice, but we don't know that. We got to go through the process and realize these things. It's cool. This is how life is, you know. I didn't know this at a teen or 20s, or even if intellectually maybe I would have agreed in my 20s, like, yeah, that's true. That's the most important thing. But my behavior demonstrated something else, because I had desires I wanted to fulfill and all that. But if you're suffering with this post-acute withdrawal syndrome, that should be the motivation to get you to so-called walk out of your life and just focus on your healing. Because I don't see any other way to really recover from that. Okay. Dopamine. So now we're going to get into, the so-called medicine for this. I'm gonna share some things that help you to accelerate your recovery. Obviously, you got to have a streak going. If you keep losing your semen, that's just going to reset you, and then you're going to have to keep starting over again. You don't start completely over. See, it's all paradoxical, man. Like, there's no absolutes. Let's say you have a 6-month streak, but then you lose, you relapse. I've already made videos. It's okay. You don't go back to square one. You just keep trying. That's also part of the process. Don't let the mind beat you up and all that. But you just make a commitment inside that you're going, this is your life now, you're trying, and that's it. It's okay. That's what you do. You got to watch all these other ways that you get dopamine hits in your life. Now, I'm talking mostly to these people. I'm talking to everybody, whoever has the ears to listen, but I'm talking in particularly to those who suffer from having this excessive nervous system disorder and heightened sensitivity. Those people, you need to watch any time, any stimulation, any dopamine hits you get in your life. You got to do an inventory. Look at your life. See, how am I stimulating my nervous system in a way that I shouldn't? Because my nervous system's already like on edge all the time anyway. You gotta look and see, and just be honest with yourself, and get somebody to help you and comb through your life. What am I doing? Am I hanging out with certain people that stimulate this that I don't need to hang out with because their conversations and what they're about, they stimulate, they make you anxious. But I can't stop hanging out with them because they're my friends. No, you gotta take your life back. You can look at that. Look at the foods you're eating. Am I eating a bunch of meat? Pork's the worst. Out of all the meat, fish is best, chicken second, beef third, pork is fourth. I don't eat meat because it stimulates my nervous system. Now, if I'm in an extenuating circumstance and I'm hungry and I need to eat, and all they have is meat, if I'm on a long 20-hour plane ride or something, yeah, I'm going to eat some meat. I'm not dogmatic, because it can be worse for somebody who has a sensitive nervous system. It can be worse not to eat at all than to go ahead and eat something maybe that's going to cause a little stimulation. Because, see, the meat has these adrenaline and epinephrine and norepinephrine. And then if we want to go further, how were the animals killed and slaughtered? And did they tense up before they die? And then all that adrenaline got absorbed in their energy. Now we're eating the energies in the meat, and we're eating that. And how do we cook the meat? And there's all these things, So the people who are extra sensitive, I would chill with the meat. I wouldn't eat so much. If you want to eat, go ahead, though. I'm not dogmatic. Like, you can't argue with me here. I'm sharing what my knowledge and experience is here, and if it appeals to you, cool. I was going to say something else. Fasting. I made a video on that. But see, I would change that up for those people who are excessively sensitive. Fasting's not so good. Maybe for a day, 24 hours, feel it out. You have to see. When your nervous system starts getting on edge, because you're fasting, rather that be on just water. Dry fasting is really intense. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody that has an excessive nervous system disorder. I did that. I tortured the hell out of myself, and for what? Well, I have the experience now. Or even juice fasting and stuff. You got to pay attention. Those of you who have a sensitive nervous system, pay attention when you're doing these things. Let go of the concept and what society says, oh, it's good for everybody. No, there's no everybody. It's individual. You have to feel. Is this good for me or not? Get some guidance from somebody that knows if you have a question about it, because you want to do the right thing. You don't want to cause more damage to your nervous system. See, I did that. Too much fasting, too much fruitarian, I caused more damage. So I don't do that now, but I had to do it to know, stress in your life. Yeah, you got to check your life. Are you hanging out with people or your parents or family, and then you justify and say, oh, well, I can't not hang out with them because of this and that. But yet when you go with them, you just feel your nervous system's out of whack. Don't do that. Where do you go on vacation? Where do you go on the weekends? Do you go to clubs? Do you go to things that stimulate you and you know that you shouldn't, but yet you're addicted to dopamine, Go out in nature and go to the beach where there's nobody there. Chill. Get grounded. Find a beach where you can, I was going to say be naked, but then you might get stimulated. Actually, that's the best cure for people. You know the best cure for lust and all that? Go to a nude beach every day. If you go even after 5-6 hours, you'll be cured, at least for a little bit. You'll be like, oh yeah, who cares? Everybody's naked. Like, who cares? It's just a body. It's when society represses and makes everything taboo, then that becomes like, oh wow, a naked girl. You see, it activates that. Life is paradoxical. It's opposite in a lot of ways. The real remedy and solution, it's opposite. So you want to be in environments and do things and have habits that ground you. You don't want to be overstimulated. 12-step meetings. I always share about this because this is the best. This is really good. You need the support of fellowship. And also the meetings, there's 3 things you get. You get fellowship. They also have the 12-step program that teaches you to realize, you can say, the real power of the universe that's beyond human power, but it's not religious or dogmatic. It lets you cultivate your own relationship and understanding of what this higher power is. I mean, what a great program. And you have everybody in there is on the same page. They're trying to better themselves. Why not go to that and utilize this tool that God put here? You can go to Sex Porn Addicts Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous. There's like 3 different fellowships. Google it. I would go. I just don't have time. But I like 12-step meetings. I've dabbled in them since I was 15. That's where like all my friends mostly came from, you know. Those who are feeling depressed and you're lonely and stuff, go to these programs. Get some camaraderie and people who are on the same page doing the same thing as you. It's logical. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Give yourself a few years. If you fit into this category, give yourself a few years, okay? The other thing, I'm going to make a video, though. This is kind of a separate subject. When we're really preserving our energy and we're not edging, we're not like losing energy on any level as far as the sexual instinct goes. Man, the energy that we can start to accumulate and get, and that can start exploding through us, you might not be able to handle that. Your sleep might go way down. You know, you slept 8-9 hours in the past. Now you've been full on for a couple of years. I only need a few hours sleep, honestly. It's weird. Once in a while, maybe I'll sleep, you know, like if I go a month sleeping 3-4 hours, maybe then I'll have a day where I sleep 6-7 hours or something. Maybe the body, you know, catches up or something. And then another month or 2 where I'm, you know, so. And then if you have a clean diet and clean, healthy lifestyle, you're going to be operating on a level nobody else is. So you got to be aware of that. You got to diagnose yourself. Like, are the symptoms I'm feeling now, are they actually the consequences, the positive consequences and benefits of preserving my semen and not edging? Is that what it is? Or is it this acute syndrome withdrawal? Now, if it's at the beginning, it's going to be the acute withdrawal syndrome, and you can feel it. Having energy is different than just having a lot of anxiety and restlessness and not stable in your mind and emotions. So you can discern. But I just wanted to throw that in there because that can just make things more complicated also, because that can also be in there, especially if you got a year or 2 and you're not losing your energy. You're going to be you're going to be on another level. I'm going to make another video on that though, because yeah. All right, let me know if you had any questions about that. That was a good title and topic, and I like talking about it. And give yourself a few years, man. It can really take that long. You know, no joke. It's not like it's hell for 3 years, but I'm just saying, it takes a while to rebuild your mind, body, and emotional body. So if you've already, you know, it's been over a year and you're like, why? Like, I'm still feeling out of sorts. It's totally normal. It's like benzos. Anybody been addicted to Xanax or tranquilizers? I went through that when I was in my early 20s. Man, that took a few years. It took a few years to get off that, a few years to get off marijuana, a few years to recover from losing my semen, because I was losing it, I don't know, since I was 10, like every day. It was like, oh, this is great. This is a free high. And so I did that for like 12, 13 years. And then stopped. But then it was my early 20s. But then I was a total edging dopamine addict. And so, you know, we got to work with this. All right. Have a good day.